The Women by Kristin Hannah is a powerful historical novel that sheds light on the experiences of American women who served in the Vietnam War, a period full of pain and psychological struggles that have often been overlooked. The novel offers a deep insight into the story of Frances Frankie Miller, a symbol of the women who faced war and the social challenges upon their return. The novel begins with Frances Frankie Miller, a young woman from a conservative family in the 1960s. Her life is set on a traditional path, dreaming of marriage and living a safe life. However, after her brother's death in Vietnam, she decides to make a bold decision to change her life and join the war as an army nurse. She leaves behind a world of comfort and security to enter a battlefield full of chaos and pain. The novel vividly and realistically portrays the harrowing experience Frankie faces during her service in Vietnam. She works as a nurse on the front lines, treating injured soldiers daily in harsh conditions, while facing constant bombings and the ever-present fear of death. Frankie witnesses horrific scenes of destruction, seeing soldiers die in her arms, leaving a deep psychological impact on her. Upon returning to the US, Frankie realizes that society doesn't recognize or appreciate her role or the sacrifices she made during the war. On the contrary, she is ignored and criticized for being a woman who served in the military, which becomes a bitter experience. Frankie finds herself isolated and alone, unable to understand how society can dismiss the pain she endured. The novel accurately portrays the emotional tension veterans face when returning from war, especially women, whose contributions are often unrecognized. Frankie starts a new battle after her return, but this time, it's not on the battlefield, it's within herself. She suffers from PTSD, experiencing nightmares and emotional breakdowns. She realizes that her former friends and family members can't fully understand what she went through. The novel portrays Frankie's struggle to rebuild her life and adapt to a society that makes her feel invisible. Throughout the novel, Frankie strives to find herself again, learning how to cope with her emotional and psychological wounds. The story concludes with a powerful message of resilience and the strength of women who fight multiple battles, whether on the battlefield or in their personal lives. The novel highlights the often overlooked contributions of women in wars, especially in Vietnam. It delves deeply into the mental health struggles caused by war, with Frankie suffering from PTSD, which isolates her from society. Upon returning from Vietnam, Frankie finds herself torn between her old life, which now seems distant and meaningless, and her new life, filled with painful memories of war. The novel explores how veterans, especially women, are neglected when they return from war, facing indifference instead of appreciation. "I went to war as a girl, and I came back a woman, but I was never the same again." This quote reflects the profound transformation Frankie undergoes during the war, and how the experience changes her forever. Sometimes the real war is the one you fight inside yourself after the battles are over. This quote summarizes the internal psychological conflict the characters face post-war, especially dealing with PTSD. "There was no place for us in the history of this war, as if we never existed at all." This expresses the social neglect Frankie and other women like her felt, where their contributions were not acknowledged.